How's it going out there, YouTube? My name is Jesse, and I am the curator for the Golden Age, and this is another...
Lost Heroes of the... Well, you know what this is.
Is there an issue?
I'm still trying to figure out how this guy got his name.
Yeah, the guy's powers in correlation with his names don't make a whole lot of sense.
His powers have nothing to do with keys in any way.
Yeah, you got that right. I'm a little confused by how this character works. The premise of it overall isn't bad, but the fact that he's been transformed and then his powers work biologically. If his powers were technologically based, I would be a lot more on board with this than I am. Now, we're reviewing somebody out of Chesler Comics, and Chesler's had a weird publication history. Three of their biggest titles, Punch Comics, Scoop, and Dynamic Comics, had a weird sort of gap thing where they put out the first couple of issues, and then they stopped, and then they resumed with issue 8. Well, Scoop and Dynamic Comics came back with issue 8. Punch Comics did the same thing, came back with issue 9 after 2 issues. And I can't seem to find a reason for why they stopped after the first couple and then came back. And a lot of the heroes that premiered in the first couple of issues were revamped and redone. So it would be the same hero, but in a different way. Now, what we're doing is someone called Master Key. He's had his eyes altered by an experiment that have to do with radio waves, and he has one eye that can shoot an X-ray and the other eye that can shoot a ray out of his eyes that can melt things. And it seems like he may have a degree of control with the eyes, but that one's never really gone into. Now, I thought it was just both eyes doing it, but one of the later comics and Punch Comics says that one eye does the X-ray and the other eye does the melting ray, and we'll get into that when I explain more about him. But Chesler's always kind of weird. Now, the Punch Comic and Dynamic Comics stop at one point and then resume under a UK publisher, which I believe is Superior, and they took a lot of the characters over from Chesler to the Superior Comics. I can't seem to find a reason for it, and I'm not really enthused with the Master Key under the Superior publication. They don't seem to understand who the hero is. I mean, the one from Punch Comics from Superior, I did not like it. It didn't even seem like Master Key. But there's a couple of publications that I can neither confirm nor deny that he is in those, and I'll explain that too. But it's just the creation of this character doesn't make any sense, and I can't really get behind the premise of his powers being at that point biological because they're a part of him. So he's the technology would have made a whole lot more sense. The dynamic of this is weird. Chesler Comics has always had a weird dynamic. I've done a number of characters from Chesler Comics: Dynamic Man, Lady Satan, Dynamic Boy. There's a number of Chesler characters that I still would like to do, but it is a weird creation. Even with Lady Satan, she started off with having a regular spy type, and then she ended up becoming a witch later in her comics. It's a weird setup. Like I said, it's a weird setup with Chesler, so let's go ahead and go over Master Key. I cannot put his name to his powers, because in the Golden Age, your name usually went with your powers in some way, but he is Master Key, yet he has rays that does X-rays and a penetrating ray. I cannot find the connection between the two things. So let's let's go over who he is, where he appeared. And for the most part, he's your standard Golden Age superhero. And he had a bit of popularity. He appeared in a number of the Chesler publications, Scoop, Dynamic, and Punch comics. And a lot of the heroes stayed in the publication. The fact that he went into so many different ones is kind of a testament to how popular he was. So let's get into Master Key on the Lost Heroes of the Golden Age. Master Key, Ray Cardwell, first appeared in Scoop Comics #1 in 1941. The publisher is Chesler, and he does not have any created by credits. Now, Master Key would have his first couple appearances in Scoop Comics. He would also appear in Dynamic Comic and Punch Comics. It's interesting that he would premiere in all of these, since a lot of times the heroes that when they premiered, they stayed in their comic books. But he was popular enough that he appeared in many different ones. Now, Scoop comic books would go on for issues. It was 1, 2, 3, and 8. He didn't appear in number 8, and he was on the cover of 2 and 3. Now, in the first 3 comics, he was also the featured story in all 3, despite only appearing on 2 covers. And the covers had nothing to do with the issue. Okay, this is just a break in the editing because I didn't look at all the covers before, but Master Key did have more cover appearances. On Punch Comics, he appeared on the cover of 10, 14 and 15, 18, 19, and he did appear on the cover of 21, but that was after Superior had taken over. So he did have more cover appearances, but his only feature appearances was in Scoop Comics. There is a credit for 2 other comic books appearing in All New Short Story Comics #1 and Triumph Comics. Cannot confirm either of these. If you watched my Nighthawk video, I talked about All New Short Story Comics #1, and I cannot find a complete issue of that. The most I've ever found from this comic book was 14 pages, and it's not even a full Nighthawk story in there. And Triumph Comic Books is a UK publication that I cannot find, because even though some of the sites that I use does do some UK publications, I don't have access to a UK database, so I cannot confirm Triumph Comics this was number 32. I can barely find any Triumph comic books at all. And I would love a full issue of All New Short Story Comics #1. It's because I can't find it. Even if I had access to All New Short Story Comics #1, I would definitely upload it so that people can have a full issue, because I can only find 14 pages. Okay, so Master Key is a weird creation. He was doing a radio experiment, and for some reason it had some sort of a telescope apparatus to it. He puts his eyes to it, and the radio waves blast his eyes, and he thinks that he's blind at first, and then he realizes that he has powers. He has a power to x-ray things, and then a power to melt things. Now, apparently, each power comes from each individual eye. Now, they didn't outright state this at first. They kind of hinted at it with the drawings, but definitely in Punch Comics #17, he outright says this. The ray from my right eye burns, and my left eye has x-ray vision. Why were you gunning for Ray Cardwell? Now, Ray Cardwell is a Playboy, but he sets himself apart from Master Key, where he is Ray Cardwell to the public, and then he fights crime as Master Key. But he doesn't let people know who he is, which is weird because he never wears a mask. As Master Key, he dresses up in a nice, pristine suit, which a lot of people from the Golden Age did, and the fedora. But I don't understand how he hides his identity. No mask, no mask or cape or anything. He just somehow puts on a fedora and nobody knows who he was. I mean, even if he wore glasses, that would at least throw people off to who he is. Yes, I know, Superman reference. But somehow, yeah, it's like even here at the bottom of the page, this guy ain't Ray Cardwell. He's the Master Key. He doesn't have the fedora on, and you still don't think that they're the same person. It doesn't make any sense. Okay, so like I said, he gets his powers from some sort of radio-controlled experiment. And he gets blasted with this, and he's like, oh, my eyes, I need to sit down and rest. My eyes feel strange. Well, I'll be. The radio waves entered my eyes and is generating away. Why, this is amazing. The ray from my eye acts like a controlled beam capable of penetrating forms. And then in the next page, he's like, I'm going to be a threat to the underworld. I'll be the Master Key. Why? Why did you call yourself the Master Key? Now, I know that there's a character called the Eye, so you can't exactly call yourself that, but Master Key makes absolutely no sense. It's mind-boggling. Now, in the first appearance, when he's freeing the president, they come up to a lock, and he's like, I don't have the key, we'll use mine, the Master Key. No. We're not using the fact that he's melting a lock saying, I'll use my Master Key in correlation with his name, because it's the only time he does that. So we're not letting him have a pass on that, because he was calling himself Master Key before he melted the lock. Now, he appears in Scoop Comics, and he appears in Dynamic Comics number 8 and 9, and then it's only those 2 issues, and then he won't appear in Dynamic Comics until number 24. And number 24, it's being done by Superior at that point, which is a UK publisher, and I hate that issue. In Dynamic Comics number 24, it is a bad story. I do not like reading it because it doesn't look like a Master Key story at all. The drawings are completely off. The story doesn't follow the type of Master Key. It is a bad story. Now, in Punch comic books, it's number 9 through... what was that? Punch comic books ended with number 19. So he appears in Punch comic books number 20 and 21. Those stories are a little bit better. They're much better than Dynamic Comics number 24. A horribly done story. Whoever did that should be ashamed of themselves. So, he was popular enough to appear in all of these. It's just that I don't have a problem with the powers. I have a problem with how he got the powers, and the fact that after his eyes get changed, they become a part of him. Like I said when I introduced this, technology would have been a whole lot better, and then we could have correlated the name of Master Key with his technological powers in some way. It's just, none of it makes any sense. Now, he does seem to have a little bit of above average strength, because a number of times he's tied up with bonds and it says he pulls all of his strength together to break the bonds. So he has above average strength. He has a measure of durability because he has been knocked out so many times and doesn't seem to have a head injury. He is intelligent into a sense because he's doing an experiment to try and advance the set of radio waves by 200 years at the very beginning. So, above average strength, above average durability. He's very intelligent, except for his name. And for some reason, nobody seems to know that he is Ray Cardwell when he dresses up as the Master Key in a suit. Detective, pugilist, but what Golden Age superhero wasn't. So let's go ahead and cover the first issue, and then you'll know a little bit more about the Master Key. And if you can find any reason for why he calls himself that, please enlighten me, because I have been racking my brain for the last 2 weeks about that, and still haven't found the logical conclusion as to why. So let's get into the first appearance. I forgot to discuss how he's dressed. Actually, in the first couple of issues, they didn't know what they wanted to call his powers. Armed with his radio eye, he's known as the Master Key, which doesn't make any sense. I know you were changed by radio waves, but it's not a radio eye. And in the next issue, it says the suave Master Key armed with his powerful photoelectric eye. And in one of the intros, they also called it the radio active eye. It's like they didn't know how they properly wanted to represent it. And yeah, it's a weird thing to describe. Now, in his first outfit, he has the full tailored suit with what appears to be a cape and a fedora. Now, in the other issues, it was blue cape, blue vest, blue pants, the blue hat, and the white undershirt. And it seemed like in later issues, he abandoned the cape and all that, and just went with the white top and blue pants with the fedora. And that was a lot of it. It was the white shirt with the white vest, the blue pants. I have no idea what color his shoes were. I did like a lot of the action scenes. One of the problems when drawing comic book characters is when you put a character on full display and then draw him doing an action scene, it can look wrong because you're trying to put the whole body in. And a lot of the drawings here reminiscent of a lot of Jack Kirby's work. And that was Jack Binder and Otto Binder. They didn't put the full body in there, and when you're putting some of the body off of the representing pages, you can make the action scene seem more real because you're not trying to cram the whole body into these panels. So there is a lot of the action scenes which actually look really good. Didn't have a problem with the artwork overall, but that was that's a little bit of his outfit and how they had trouble talking about how they represented him at first, and eventually they would abandon saying things about his eye and just how he's the Master Key. Master Key, and we see Chris and Gale. Introducing the Master Key, weird figure of the night who strikes terror into the hearts of the most hardened criminals. Known to society as suave, sophisticated Ray Cardrell, this not-so-playful playboy represents the iron fist of justice. All the underworld trembles at the name Master Key. This is an interesting splash page, how it's they show the book right here with the introduction, and it's the start of it is in the book with a key attached to it. I don't like the name, but I do think that this is a very interesting splash page. It's unlike a lot of other introductions I've seen into the Golden Age. The very first panel of the story is part of the book, which is part of the splash page. Ready here, Ray, here too. Ray Cardrell works tirelessly for the advancement of radio waves, assisted by Gale Kent and Chris Cross. I still don't see how radio waves have given him the powers that his eyes represent with the X-rays and the penetrating ray, but I digress. If these wavelengths cross, I'll have advanced radio by 200 years. Ready? But as the rays come together, a blast rocks the laboratories. My eyes! Okay, so he talks about how he is having trouble seeing, and he goes into, I guess, his study, and he passes out in the chair, which, I have to admit, it looks like a very comfy chair. Exhausted from the shock, Ray Cardrell sleeps quietly. Suddenly, he is awakened by a strike. What the? My eyes feel strange! Well, I'll be. The radio waves entered my eyes and is generating a ray. What? How do you even know that? There's no mirror in there. What? Why, it's amazing. The ray from my eye acts like a control beam capable of penetrating forms. And to the astonishment the image of the laboratory in the adjoining room takes shape before him. Thus, out of the laboratory accident rises the one and only Master Key, a fearless challenger to the underworld. To my friends in society, I'll be Ray Cardrell, but to the underworld, I'll be the Master Key. Why? Why couldn't you have been like X-Ray or the Melter or anything but the Master Key? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, now, although I appreciate this outfit, and this is the last time we will see it like this, because in most of the other time he's wearing a white fedora and a white top with the blue pants, I like this outfit. It's very suave, but it won't last. That night, Ray takes a long walk along Pennsylvania Avenue, heart of Washington, D.C. I'm not even going to question that. Okay, so as he's walking down D.C., apparently in his Master Key disguise, they talk about how the president has vanished. President disappears. It seemed fantastic still with the war going on and the country infested with Nazi agents. When was the U.S. infested with Nazi agents? I understand that we had spies, but I'm going to look this up. I don't think the U.S. was infested by Nazi agents. Okay, I did look this up. In 1941, we did convict 33 people of being Nazi spies in the U.S. That's hardly a country infested with Nazi agents. I understand. It's a story, but I don't like ideas of the U.S. being invaded by Nazis. It didn't happen. So, at first, I didn't know whether he seemed to control this power or not, because as he walks to the Abe Lincoln Memorial, it's beginning to change. And it seemed like the power acted independently, but in the other stories, he activates the power. Transforming Ray Cardrell into the Master Key, the penetrating ray from his eye travels to the statue of Abe Lincoln. What? There's a secret panel encased in the foot of the statue. Now, I know of the Undercroft in D.C., and I'm pretty sure it goes under Abe Lincoln's memorial, but I don't think there was a secret passage in his leg. There might be, but in a lot of the movies, they talk about the underground tunnels, and there is an Undercroft. I just don't think it's from the Lincoln Memorial. Like that. Anyways, with his penetrating ray, the Master Key forces open the secret panel. There must be something mighty strange going on down there. There is no way that you know that. Just because there is a secret passage that you happen to open doesn't mean that there's something going on down there. You made a wild assertion on that one. You were right, but that is a wild assertion. I wonder where the loud clanging sound is coming from. And as he goes down there, let's see, through the eerie passages, down the creaky staircase, moves the Master Key. This place looks like some sort of secret arsenal. The highly sensitized eyes focuses on the strange scene, and he sees a whole bunch of people carrying around girders? Steel girders? Okay. Suddenly, the floor gives way. What the? With the whole nation's attention on the president's disappearance, they'll be unprepared for our blow tonight. Our plans are 100 miles out at sea. Look out. Oops. Excuse me, boys. Okay, so I don't think it was a trap door that he fell into, but he fell through and landed on the Nazi agents and starts knocking them out and using the one-liners. Permit me to introduce myself. They call me the Master Key. I thought the underworld already knew who you were. That's what you said in the opener. You were the challenger of the underworld. Everybody feared you as Master Key. So why did you have to introduce yourself? Guards, stop him! Come back here, you filthy traitor. Technically not a traitor. He is a Nazi agent working on Nazi plans. So that would not technically make him a traitor. He's representing his country. He's not a U.S. agent turned Nazi. I don't think so. I think he's, anyways. Come and get it, boys. I'll take care of that guy. Okay, look at what this guy is holding, and he hits Master Key in the back of the head. You see how big that is. Master Key is dead at this point. This is a short story. It's over with. A big burly guy like that hitting Master Key with something that big? Master Key is dead. He is done for. This is why I said that he's got a high rate of durability, because that would kill anybody else. Who in the blazes is he? He just introduced himself. He's Master Key. Yeah, right there. He even says it. He calls himself Master Key. Pick him up and follow me. You're picking up the dead man? I mean, you obviously killed him. Through the vast underground corridors, the enemy of America carries the unconscious form of the Master Key. No! You killed him! You hit him with that, what looks like a gigantic pipe wrench or something. He's dead! Okay, yeah, this is why I say that people in the Golden Age have a level of durability that's unmatched. Because he should be dead. By tomorrow, this country won't have any president, but a dictator, and that will be me, Clayton Hiller, Master of America. So he throws Ray into the prison cell, and Ray slowly starts to get the consciousness. I've got to get out of here quick. The future of America depends on it. Now, I don't know why they put this eye in his forehead. He doesn't have a third eye. It doesn't exist. It isn't even really a third eye. It's the fact that he's thinking about his power, so they draw this eye. It's a really bad look. I really thought the first time reading this that he had a third eye. He doesn't. That's not a third eye. This projection of the third eye is happening in his head, so it's not a third eye. As the mind clears, the great Master Key remembers his power, the penetrating ray. Why did you have to remember that? That is part of your subset of powers. You shouldn't have to remember that you have powers. You should automatically know. Ray Cardrell, alias the Master Key, shoots his ray forward, smashing the lock. An instant later, the weird figure of the Master Key stands forth. 2 panels, back to back. Alias the Master Key, the weird figure of the Master Key. That was completely unnecessary. And in the 4th key, you say the Master Key again. Gee, I wonder what this guy's name is. It couldn't be Master Key, could it? Considering you say the name 3 times in 4 panels. Get the General Von Hiller, quick, puff puff. How'd he get out? Who betrayed me? There's a traitor in our midst. I did, Metstuff. Well, no, you technically didn't betray them. You are the hero actively taking down criminals. There's no betrayal there. You melted the lock and you got the drop on him. There's nobody betraying you at this point. Okay, so he gets the information about where the president is. We'll use mine. I have no key. We'll use mine. The Master Key. No. I will not let you melting the lock, saying that you're using the Master Key, be a justification for your name. No. You called yourself the Master Key before this particular situation happened. I am not letting you get away with that. I'll have you loose in a jiffy, Mr. President. He's getting away, but I'll stop him with his powerful radio wave. What? He's using the penetrating ray from his eye. With his powerful radio waves, the Master Key melts the steel girders above. That sentence doesn't even make any sense. Why couldn't you just say the eye or the ray from his penetrating eye? You said powerful radio waves. That doesn't make any sense for this statement, considering that you've been calling it a ray the whole time and never once called it a radio wave. Causing the heavy machinery overhead to crash, blocking the enemy's only way of escape. So we'll go ahead and read the last two panels here, back at the steps of the White House. But won't you tell me who you are so America can thank you? No, Mr. He's not wearing a mask. You should be able to tell who he is. He's a Playboy, which everybody knows who the Playboys are. No, Mr. President, as long as I remain unknown, I can continue to fight crime and injustice. Mr. President, the report from the Department of Justice shows they've rounded up all the fifth colonists. Thanks to the Master Key. Master Key appearing in Scoop Comics. Only 3 of them. I hope you liked this one. I hope you enjoyed this. If you enjoy Chesler comics and want to see more, I definitely have a number of Chesler characters that I can still do. But, you know, I like doing all the publications of the Golden Age. That's what I do on my channel. So, I have some more good ones coming. And until next time, I'll be seeing you.